Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you hear me? Sir, I can hear you, sir.
Yes, I'm hearing. No problem.
Okay.
Are you going to start now?
Sir, 1 more minute, sir. Please give me 1 more minute, sir.
No problem. No problem. You can take it. I'm at your disposal. No problem.
HOD, sir. Sir, நான் start பண்ணவா, sir?
Okay, you can start now. No problem.
HOD, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir, 1 minute, sir. Okay.
Okay. Carry on.
I welcome you all for the guest lecture on micro and nanotechnology and introduction, MEMS and commercial microsensor in novel applications conducted by Department of EEE SRM Valiamma Engineering College. It's a very proud moment to us to extend my warm wishes on behalf of the HOD EEE Principal and Vice Principal of SRM Valiamma Engineering College. I want to convey my heartfelt gratitude to our speaker, Dr. J. Jayapandian, for accepting the invitation and presenting slides over this guest lecture on micro and nanotechnology. I'd like to introduce today's presenter, Dr. J. Jayapandian. With his excellent teaching experience, he joined in Material Science Division of Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, Department of Atomic Energy, Kalpakkam, in the year 1983 as an electronic specialist for various experimental automation design requirement. He has received many awards. Meritorious Office Award in 1999 from IGCAR, DAE for his design innovation in readout electronics design for superconducting quantum interference device. He has received Design Challenger Award 1999 by Maxim Integrated Products Limited, reputed and popular worldwide electronics component manufacturer and electronics engineering magazine UK. His significant contribution to the field of laboratory automation design has backed Tamil Nadu Scientist Award for the year 1999 in the field of engineering and technology by Government of Tamil Nadu. He has received Kalpakkam Science and Technology Award for the year 2000 for his innovative design for laboratory experimental automations. He has received DAE Group Achievement Award 2012 for his unique contribution towards high purity germanium detectors. His best innovative design ideas in electronics packed several awards from leading popular international electronics design channels, Electronics Design USA, EDN Magazine USA, Electronics Engineering Magazine UK, Electronics Worldwide Magazine UK, Cypress Microsystem, WA, etc. He has received IETE Gold Medal Award for Industry in 2017. Dr. J. Jayapandian was an honorary faculty member in Homi Bhabha National Institute, Mumbai during 2008 to 2015. He has published more than 175 design papers, in which 90 designs in various international electronics magazines and around 85 in various journals and conferences. Many national institutions like IISc Bangalore, IIT, Mathematical Science Institute, National Consortium and universities have sought his technical expertise and advice whenever required. Dr. J. Jayapandian is a member Board of Studies and Nanoscience and Technology PSG Institution Coimbatore. He has presented invited talk on MEMS sensor and embedded electronics design for health at India, Brazil, South Africa, IBSA meet at South Africa. His Switzerland visit as an electronics specialist for the inspection of Brillouin spectrometer design supported DAE activities. His contribution to the high-tech R&D through design and development in both analog and digital instrumentation helped in building several new equipments. This has resulted in ensuring self-reliance in high-tech areas and also saved valuable foreign exchange. His major R&D projects are microsensors and MEMS sensors design and fabrication, commercial MEMS sensor utilization in novel applications, HPGE detectors, PIN and APD diodes for radiation detection, electronics design for ion mobility spectroscopy, automation design implementation for several experiments and biomedical applications with embedded design and virtual instrument programming technique. Presently, Dr. Jay Pandian is a honorary expert consultant in load control technologies, King of Prussia, USA. Sir, we are very happy to welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Shall I start now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Are you able to see my PPTs now?
Sir, no, sir. Now, yes, sir. Now I can see, sir. We can see, sir.
Okay. Shall I start now?
Yes, sir. Please,
Shall I
sir.
start now? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Really, I'm thankful to SRM Valimai Institute for Engineering Institute for the given opportunity to have an interaction, technical interaction with the young students and faculty members. I'm particularly thankful to Vanilla, the Professor S. Vanilla and Venkatesh and Dr. K. Ilagud, Professor and Head of the Department, EEE Department, SRM Valimai. Also, I'm thankful to the management of Valimai Engineering Institution. It's a really great opportunity for me to interact, and I hope everyone enjoyed in this pleasant evening the topic of this most powerful topic. Now, everyone willing to go ahead with micro nanotechnology is a hard theme. Now my topic of interest is micro nanotechnology and introduction and MEMS and commercial microsensors in novel application. I hope this will be very much useful in the R&D persons, students, PG students, UGT students, because it's an interdisciplinary topic. It's not only for engineering students, not only for ECE, computer science, everyone, physics, chemistry, biomedical applications, computer science, the agriculture, everyone can enjoy this topic. This is a very general topic. Then about the micro nanosensors, the introduction, and how my experience in atomic energy and what are the things, some flavor I'm going to show you for creating motivating interest in this particular area. Thank you once again, thanking all the participants, the faculty members, and the organizers of EEE, SRM Valimai Engineering Institution for the given opportunity. Thank you. Actually, if you're talking about micro nano, it has a cutting-edge technology in research and development and focus in a wide range of interspanning discovery themes of health, wellness, food production and safety, energy and environment. In the micro nano area, a very tiny device offers giant opportunities for technologies, consumer product, energy saving systems, environment, healthcare, biomedical, agriculture, R&D intrusion, everywhere. Concept, that is the micro nanotechnology, the concept that seeded micro nanotechnology were first discussed in 1959 by a renowned physicist Richard Feynman in his classic talk, There is Plenty of Room at the Bottom, in which he described the possibility of synthesis and direct manipulations of atoms. I hope most of the people knows about this topic. It is very well available in Google search. Even if nobody, if someone unable to realize what is this topic, you can go ahead. This search. There is plenty of room at the bottom. You can read it and then you can enjoy the topic. This topic only motivated each and everyone to think of micro nanotechnology and the need through which we can support the society very well. That's actually this is a very important topic. All the people, all the participants, please go ahead and then see what is that. Plenty of room at the bottom. In which what Richard Feynman insisted actually during 1959 for physics community, he has given a novel lecture in which he talked about miniaturization. Miniaturization means what is the effect, what will be the things in future can be harvested through miniaturization. That's what his major concept, in which he described how to make, how to read small, how to make, how to write small, how to read small, how to make a molecular robot, how to make a molecular machines, how to make a microcomputers. But anyway, we are now today we are able to realize microcomputers, everything, even how to write. It means thousands of actually, for example, Britannia Encyclopedia to be written thousand more several pages of Britannia Encyclopedia to be written on a small pen. That's what it requires. Today we are able to realize USB memory stick for several terabyte. We are able to write. That is how to write small. In the how to read small, he requested the physics and science community, engineering community, then think of how to read small. It means, for example, for atoms and molecules to be viewed through our eye, it is impossible with our naked eye to see, visualize the atoms and molecules, chemical A, how it interacts with chemical B, how we are getting chemical C. These are very difficult with the naked eye. That's why at the time, during his talk, 1959, magnification available with optical lenses for 100x, 100 times, and 50 times, 200 times magnification only. But it is very difficult by using that optical lens for visualization of very tiny particles like atoms, molecules, how chemical A, B interacting with the C. Likewise, we are unable to realize cells, biological cells, our human cells, then blood corpuscles, white and red corpuscles, DNA molecules. Very difficult because they're very tiny. It requires some millions times of magnification. Then for that only he insisted to really trying to support society. Definitely you can have some fantastic machines, spectroscopy, to visualize the tiny particles. Then only we can support our society. Likewise, he opened the topic. At the time he given 2 awards. Then who is making a 16th of an inch motor, functional motor. Motor means what? Actually, a fan also motor, functional electrical, functional mechanical. That is in macro scale. But he requested tiny structure. Then that's what it extending towards micro nano. That's what he's building. Immediately one craftsman, he made such a tiny motor. Then he demonstrated the motor. Then he same Feynman awarded him $1,000 at the time. Same way, writing small, fellow write a book, articles in a small memory. That way, he bagged a prize of a second prize of a Feynman award. That way, Feynman motivated the community to think of miniaturization. How to read small, how to write small, how to make a microstructure devices, sensors, like these things to support our society. Then everyone actually, after listening to Feynman talk, sorry, after listening to Feynman, inspired by Feynman's concept, subsequently scientists and engineers started using this term micro and nanotechnology. The first invention came in the micro nanotechnology, scanning tunneling microscope, STM, in 1981. Actually, it was the innovators, Benning and Rohrer. They received a Nobel Prize in 1986 for the discovery of a scanning tunneling microscope. Actually, through which one can manipulate individual atoms and molecules and visualize the atoms and molecules and bond link between atom bonding, everything can be visualized. The unprecedented visualization of molecules and atoms and atom bonding possible with ECM. That is able to manipulate individual atoms and molecules. Successfully, they started using these in 1989. They received the Nobel Prize in 1986 in physics for this STM. Then the same year, analogous to STM, atomic force mass spectroscopy AFM is another spectroscopic event. This is several million times magnification through which one can go through the surface structure, tiny surface structure, and then small magnetic, small mechanical forces, then air flux, photons. These things can be read by this atomic force mass spectroscopy. It's the same year, 1981, but the same, that is the same author, same scientist, Benning and Gerber. They designed atomic force spectroscopy. And second innovation in micro nanotechnology, nanotechnology area is fluorescence. Buckyball. Buckyball is social ball. You know the football structure, how is ball structure. That is called social ball. That is buckyball structure. A representative member of carbon structure. They invented for a carbon structure, buckyball is a structure. Then its diameter is 1 nanometer. For which they bagged the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1996. They invented it in 1985. Then actually, if you're talking about micro nanotechnology, is the engineering of functional systems in micro and nanoscale. That is the molecular scale, atomic and molecular scales. Nano means 1 billionth, 10 power minus 9. Micro means 10 power minus 6 meter. 10 power minus 6 meter. For example, for microstructure, our human hair, for men, it is 100 micron. For women, it is 80 micron. Just imagine that the micrometer is our thin hair, unable to measure with screwdriver, screw gauge or vernier calipers. It is impossible to measure such a tiny structure. But you just imagine that I am talking about microsensors in 10 or 20 micrometers. Our human hair is 80 and 100 micrometer, but we are going to talk about microsensors in 10, 20 micrometers. But the nanometer is in again 1,000 times less. That is 10 more minus 9. For example, ATP cells, DNA structure. These things are, for example, for the even I mentioned that carbon atom to atom link. These are all the examples for the nanoscale. For example, for typical example for nanoscale, already I mentioned that buckyball structure. Carbon structure is 1 nanometer diameter. Saucer ball, that is buckyball. So 1 nanometer. Then other thing is for our carbon to carbon atom between the spacing. There is carbon atom to carbon atom in a molecule. The atom bond length is around 0.12 to 0.15 nanometer. Same way, the diameter of the double-helix DNA structure is around 2 nanometer. These are all the typical example for nanometric scale. For micro scale, for nanoscale, the carbon structure and the spacing between carbon atom and double helix DNA diameter, these are all in nanometric scale. Until 1980, the fundamental transaction modes used for sensors and transducer could be categorized as optical, mass, electrochemical, and these were sort of the old sensors. Even now, these are all the fundamental transaction mode. Mass, optical, electrochemical, these are all the fundamental modes. But at the time, everyone expecting some sensors different in different approach, measured quantitatively and quantitatively further with further accuracy. They expected sensors, but unable to realize that only with this transaction mechanism, sensors came out as a comprehensive, not as a complementary. That way, the searching for ideal sensor has continued. Then last 2 decades, the advancement in microelectromechanical systems, that is microstructure sensor design, actually it established the technique to fabricate micro sensors, microelectromechanical microstructure sensor that based on transaction of mechanical energy and rely heavily on mechanical phenomena. That way, the new sensor technique came out after payment concept. That's what microstructure sensors. Actually, the atomic force mass spectroscopy, that's what invented in 1981, that the spectroscopy proved is a cantilever, microstructured cantilever. Cantilever is very simple. Even though laboratory can see, you may come across with cantilever experiment in physics laboratories, actually meter scale, then adding some weight in the center, supported by two knife edges, then it will deflect, bend. Cantilever means one end free, one end is fixed. For example, a swimming pool diving board, one end fixed, one end is vibrating. That's a cantilever. Then cantilever means it can, for adding load, it will deflect. If you are vibrating, it will go for a resonance frequency changes. That cantilever in microstructure only fabricated for some mass probe. It can measure millions and millions of magnification time without the surface stressors, tiny mechanical forces, heat fluxes, IR photons. That way, it's a very powerful tool. That the probe is a cantilever. That is a microstructure. That created a milestone in the technology, new technological approach for fabrication of microsensors and nanosensors. People have a confidence. Okay, we can make even further think of some micro nanosensors. Likewise, because of payments motivation, people started working in that area, miniaturization, then going for micro nanostructure transducers. That way, today we can see plenty of sensors and transducers in micro nano. Then even you can see, go through the website, you can see every day thousands and thousands different sensors are coming out for many applications. Almost all areas. Automobile is a very dominant automobile, biomedical equipments, then agricultural equipment, then industries, chemical, like the micro and nanostructured sensors and transducers are implemented, and they are very well using it for to support the society. Actually, generally speaking, MEM sensor means micro electromechanical sensor means MEM sensor is the physics behind it. General idea behind MEM sensor is a physical, chemical, or biological stimuli coated on a microstructure. If there is any change in the environment that affects the micro electromechanical or nano electromechanical characteristics, that way the change can be measured using optical or electronically. One can measure the change. If there's a cantilever, for example, cantilever is a tiny sensor in micro nanoscale also available nowadays. The sensor is two properties I mentioned. One is deflection, other is resonance frequency shift. When the resonance frequency shift occurs, when the displacement occurs, if there is a mass added on the tip of the cantilever, deflection. Or if you are vibrating the cantilever, if you are adding the mass, what will happen? The resonance frequency shift will occur. Then we have to measure the deflection in first mode. The second mode, that is first mode, is called static mode. Second is a dynamic mode, in which we have to monitor for resonance frequency shift. These are all the measurement. For that powerful, we have to make a proper readout mechanism to measure the tiny changes. With a proper readout electronics or proper readout system and microstructures, one can measure the displacement 10 power minus 6 to 10 power minus 12. 10 power minus 6 is micron, to 10 power minus 9 nano, 10 power minus 12. What is our 10 power minus 12? That way you can measure 10 power minus 12 pico, micro, nano, pico level. You can measure with a microstructure sensor. Now, even you can go for Pameto, Zepto, and Yoto, like 10 power minus 18, 10 power minus 21 meters displacement can be monitored with the nanostructure. That way, the MEM structure with the proper readout mechanism, you can measure 10 power minus 6 to 10 power minus 12 meters of displacement. That will act as a fantastic detectors of tiny mechanical forces, then photons, IR photons, heat fluxes, and then surface stresses, small difference in surface stresses. This can be monitored with even a simple cantilever, microstructured cantilever. You can have a fantastic measurement of small changes. As a dimension, actually, in this graph is a Larvik article. It's a very interesting article. You can very well read. It's available in the web, Google site. It talks about, it covers most of the micro nanotechnology, how the fabrication, what are the applications, in which they pointed out actually as the dimension approaches the nanoscale. It means miniaturization. As for Feynman, you are miniaturizing any sensor or any transducer. What will happen? It enters the area of nano mechanical regime. It starts resembles the vibration molecules of atoms and molecules. It means what? If you are reducing the dimension, going towards the nanoscale, definitely one can attain the human tailored molecules. It means what? We are able to realize, even visualize atoms and molecules with a micro nano spectroscopic event. That's what, same way here, by reducing the sensor transducer, it behaves like molecules and atoms with its with its vibrational frequency. Then in the nanomechanical regime, it is possible to attain extremely high fundamental frequency approaching those of vibrational molecules. Actually, here in this graph, you can see spatial scaling is associated with respective scaling of mass, frequency, and energy. You can see the x-axis frequency increasing while reducing the mass. Miniaturization frequency increases up to 10 power 15 for microstructure. Energy also increases, and then mass reduced. This is the basic concept of micro nanostructures. This particular thing mentions about approaching to the nanoscale, you can attain a very high fundamental frequency, that of the vibrational modes of molecules and atoms. That's what actually miniaturization, you can harvest many event, new dimension. That way you can have a high, very high sensitive with accuracy. Sensors can be fabricated with by reducing to microscale and nanoscale. Miniaturization here in this slide, you can see left top is the example for MEMS, micro electromechanical system. Already mentioned that micro electromechanical system means, for example, fan is a macro system, functional mechanical, functional electrical. If you are designing the same fan in a miniature scale of micron 10 power minus 6, that is MEMS, because micro electromechanical system with the functional mechanical and functional electrical. Actually, we are having several decades of experience in VLSI technology, the IC fabrication, manufacturing, design, and all. There we are talking about only charge flow, the transistor, resistor, capacitors. Likewise, here is a third dimension it is having as a mechanical also. Functional mechanical and functional electrical system in micro scale is called MEMS. In nanoscale is called nano electromechanical system. Bottom one shows the typical comparison: bacteria, virus, ATP motors, top nano tubes and nano manipulations, then NIMS devices. Then bottom you can see DNA structure, atoms. These are all actually the green color is the area of nano. The top one, the pink color, is the area of micro. These are the example for comparison. You can have some idea about what is microstructure, what is nanostructure. Actually, how one can think of a tiny structure, we are unable to realize, we are unable to visualize, then how it is possible? It is possible. For that, MEMS CAD tools are available. It is a finite analysis based tool. Like a MATLAB, you can go with finite element analysis. The fundamental is the MATLAB. Only from that they developed the tools in different languages. Then that is called CAD tool. That one can implement what structure, for example, micro cantilever. Then what material, silicon or polymer, like this, you can select the library, then you can tune, and then you can fabricate, you can simulate the design. Here you can simulate the design in the PC with the PC itself with the software like a Coventor, then IntelliSuite, the COMSOL multiphysics, like several MEMS tools are available commercially. For educational institution, they are giving cheaper cost because educational packages are available that already I think SRM may have in MEMS laboratory, Coventor or IntelliSuite or COMSOL multiphysics. These tools everyone can share chemistry, physics, electrical engineering, electronics engineering, computer science engineering, biomedical engineering, agriculture person. Everyone can interact with this, and then they can make, because already I mentioned that this topic is interdisciplinary. I'm a physicist, I can design like this. I won't, I'm alone cannot think of the successful design. I want to interact with all people, all the disciplines. That way, interdisciplinary area, by that way only you can get the sensor design fabricator or commercial sensor you are using for application. Also, you have to interact with everyone. It's interdisciplinary. Likewise, with the MEMS CAD tool, one can simulate and design. Finally, they can get a edit like the final file, fabrication file. With that, they can go to fabrication industry. Then there, it's the same VLSI technology, the key technology, photolithography and batch production. That way, whatever film, the edit file you are giving, that they'll keep it and then reduced photograph on the silicon wafer or polymer wafer, like the micro or nano. Nano means the reduction is still more higher. That way they can transfer the pattern. After transferring the pattern, chemistry is playing a major role, etching out of unwanted portion. Finally, you can get in a single CD like wafer, silicon wafer, thousands of tons or 10,000 tons are like depends upon the dimension. You can have the batch production. That way, the cost of the sensor will reduce like anything. This is a basic concept in how with a CAD tool we are designing, simulating the design, and then with the LED file, that is fabrication, we are transferring onto the silicon wafer, etching out, you can get the fabricated device. Then fabrication, while going for fabrication industry, immediately fabrication person will ask, what method you are preferring? Different techniques are available. Conventional method is a bulk micromachining and surface micromachining. Bulk micromachining means within the silicon, we are playing within the silicon, creating a cavity on a silicon bar, some removal of some part. That way, that is a bulk micromachining. Surface micromachining means over the silicon surface, coating material and creating a structure, that is a surface micromachining. Then alternate method is a wafer bonding. This support for very complicated sensors like capacitance sensors. Here they are using both bulk and surface micromachining together, and finally they are bonding together. For example, suppose you are having, you want to have a capacitive sensor, air cavity, top thin membrane, vibrating membrane, bottom fixed membrane, supported by the surrounding insulating pillar, like a box. Then for that, with the alternative method, wafer bonding technique, they can create the top surface membrane alone with the surface micromachining and bottom cavity with the bulk of micromachining bonding together. They can get the sensor. That is the alternative method. Here examples, conventional method. I already mentioned that the green color is a silicon. They are creating a cavity. Why cavity? They want to go for a pressure sensor. In the cavity, the pressure enters. The thin surface is around micrometer thickness. Then that will deflect. Now, okay, pressure is entering, membrane is deflecting. How the deflection can be measured? Here, simple readout mechanism. That what right side animation shows the piezo resistive material. The yellow color mark on the cavity top. That is the piezo material zigzag way they coated piezo coating. Then the piezo coating, they are applying a constant current. If there is a pressure entering, then membrane deflect, then resistance change. If piezo resistance change, then voltage across the resistance will vary. This is one simple readout method. This way only piezoelectric method available in micro cantilever pressure sensors. Several sensors and web sensors are using this technique, readout technique. Piezoresistive material. Everyone knows that piezoresistive material. If there is a compression or elongation, the resistance will change. Hello?
Sir,
The resistance will change.
sorry to
Then if there
disturb you,
is the
sir.
resistance. Hello? Hello?
Sir, sorry to disturb
Hello,
you,
are
sir.
you able to
Slides.
listen now?
Yes, sir.
Ah.
Slides are not changing, sir. Sir, are you in the
Now-
introduction slide,
Okay,
sir?
now. Okay, now I don't know. I moved from introduction. Then as a large graph. Are you able to see the graph now?
No, sir. No, sir. Can you please do
Hello?
stop sharing? Sir, no, sir. No, sir. It is still in the introduction only, sir.
No. Oh, 1 minute. Network is affecting you. Jani. Jani. Janani. Stop sharing போடும். Now are you getting it? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here, sir. No,
Now-
sir. I'm not. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Change
Now
it,
we
sir.
are getting seeing, sir. Yeah,
Now the
thank you,
graph,
sir.
are you able to see? A graph, are you able to see now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible, sir. Thank you,
Hello?
sir. Yes, sir. It is
That's
visible,
what the
sir.
last
Now.
graph I mentioned that according to level scale. Okay,
Yes,
anyway,
sir,
the
it is-
text people have to realize.
It is
Actually,
visible,
as
sir.
a nanomechanical scale you are entering, then okay. Now miniaturization about the MEMS and NEMS sensors. This is a fabrication tool with the CAD tool. MEMS, one can go ahead with the fabrication simulation design. Then with the LED file, they can go to the photolithography by reducing photograph and transferring the pattern on silicon wafer, etching out with the chemistry, they can get the sensor. Are you able to see now fabrication techniques? Hello?
No, sir. No, the slides are not moving.
Now what is
Fabrication technique. I can
okay,
see
MEMS.
that energy versus frequency slide, sir. Energy versus frequency, that micro
Okay, this one.
cantilever.
This one. Again, MEMS miniaturization, are you able to get? Are you able to get
No, sir.
miniaturization?
No, sir. Yes, sir. Miniaturization, the spatial scaling is associated. Yes, sir. Yes.
Miniaturization is okay. MEMS and NEMS sensors miniaturization. Are you able to get?
Sir, now I can see the slide 4. Slide number 4, sir.
That's what. What is the topic? MEMS miniaturization and NEMS.
No, sir. Energy versus frequency graph, sir.
Same only. No. Now I am moving. Here I am moving. But you should get this next slide as
No,
a
sir.
miniaturization. I don't know why. What is some technical
No, I
problem?
can't see that, sir. Okay.
No. It means actually you are having network problem because I am able to go here. Now what slide? Same slide only you are having.
Yes, sir. ஐயப்பன் சார், உங்களுக்கு தெரியுதா
Madam?
சார் சேஞ்ச் இன் ஸ்லைட்?
No, no, madam.
உங்களுக்கு
No,
ஸ்லைட்
madam.
மாற தெரியுதா?
No, madam.
Hello.
No, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, can you please do stop sharing and join again? Can you share the content, sir?
Okay, I can go ahead. Now,
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes.
what slide you are miniaturization?
Miniaturization, yes,
What
sir.
slide
MEMS,
you are?
yes, sir.
MEMS and NIMS. These are the example for
Yes.
MEMS and NIMS. Are you able to get the movement now? Next slide.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
MEMS
MEMS design. Now
design
I
tool. This is
Yes,
a
Yes,
finite
sir.
element analysis. MEMS
Yes,
design
slide
tool.
number
With
6,
that,
sir.
one can okay. If one can simulate the design and get the fabricated. That is the simulation part. With that,
Okay.
they can go with the LED file for fabrication. Next slide. Are you able to see key technologies?
Yes, sir.
Photolithography in mass production. Are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is a VLSI technology. Same thing we are using for MEMS and NIMS and DAS. Actually, whatever the simulation file that LED or something that we are giving, and then a reduced photograph, transferring the pattern on the silicon wafer, etching out the silicon wafer like VLSI technology, we are able to get these sensors. Finally, chemistry plays an important role. If chemistry fails, everything, you won't get the sensor. That way is interdisciplinary. Everyone to interact with all the discipline people, then only they can get the sensor out. Now, are you able to see fabrication techniques? Next
Yes,
slide.
sir.
Fabrication tech, while going for fabrication industry, they will ask for what type bulk micromachining, surface micromachining, or wafer bonding technique. Bulk micromachining means playing within the silicon. Surface micromachining means on the top of the silicon you are coating and then removing unwanted portion. Third, alternate method, I already mentioned that the capacitive like sensor, two parts, membrane alone, cavity alone, membrane with surface micromachining, bulk micromachining creating a cavity bonding together. That is a wafer bonding technique. It's a very complex sensor, is a capacitive sensor in MEMS and NEMS. It's very complicated. Are you able to see the fabrication techniques? Example, conventional method, bulk micromachining. Are you able to see this slide? Slide number 9.
No, sir. It's only shows that 7, sir.
7,
Sir,
8,
it is in
8 I
7th.
moved. Now I'm moving 8 and 9.
Sir, it is in 7th slide, sir.
Why it is not moving? Slide is not moving at all. Then if I'm going for sharing top and coming, it will come. Then again
Sir,
it is.
Sir, if you don't mind, can you please send your PPT to me, sir? I will share, sir.
Okay, okay, I will do it now.
Okay.
But PPT sharing,
You can
PPT
send
won't,
it to
animation won't
WhatsApp.
come. Only PDF only. PDF, PDF only I can.
Yeah, there is no
Okay.
issue for that, sir.
Okay.
No, animation people won't see. That's what my feeling. Some animation part, okay, I can. No other go. We can go ahead with the. Okay. Now I can send you by mail.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. 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 I request the faculty member. I request the faculty members and students to please wait. The problems will be sorted shortly. Thank you. Dear faculties and students, our speaker's area, there is power cut. So he will join the meeting shortly. So sorry for the inconvenience. Please stay in the meeting. Thank you. Sir, you have joined the meeting, sir. Speaker, sir. Sir, we can
Hi,
hear
1
you.
minute. Net I'm getting it.
Okay, sir.
Mail I'm composing now. 1 minute, 1 minute.
Oh, okay, sir.
அதான் அனுப்பவா 1 minute. பரவாயில்ல தெரியும். Message sent. Okay, now mail also you got the message. I think so. You can check with your mail. I'm going for sharing, screen sharing. Now you can see screen sharing will come because of net only. We are unable to get. Now you can see.
Okay, sir.
எங்கம்மா இது பிபிடி எங்க பிபிடி திறக்கவே இல்லை ஒன்றும் இல்லை இல்லை ஓகே இதுக்கு போகணும் எங்க போகணும் இது போகணும்ல
ஷேரிங் தான் ஷேரிங் வந்துச்சு
அதான் ஷேரிங்ல இருக்கிறேன். Now are you getting slides now?
Yes, sir.
Changing slides.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it is changing, sir. Now
Design tool, then key technology, fabrication techniques now.
Fabrication techniques. Yes, sir.
These are actually some delay.
Yeah, changing, sir.
Okay, now this is a fabrication technique. I already mentioned that bulk micro machining is within the silicon playing, making a cavity. That way, this is a bulk micro machining. First example is a pressure sensor. Pressure enter into the cavity. Then the thin portion top, that is around 1 micron, that will deflect. Then proportional to pressure, that deflection will occur. Then now how to monitor? We should have some readout mechanism, whether it is electronics or any piezoresistive or any type. That way here optical method or any method. Here now, if there is a change in the microstructure membrane, the top yellow part I shown is a piezoresistive zigzag coating. Piezoresistance, if there is a deflection, there is compression or elongation, piezo resistance will change. That is the resistance value will change. By pumping constant current, you can get a proportional voltage. That voltage is proportional to the pressure entering into the cavity. This is a basic principle of pressure sensor. That is bulk micro machining, creating a cavity, then making the readout mechanism structure. That's the first example. Second one is for surface micro machining. The pink color is a cantilever part. What we are doing is on the silicon substrate coating material and then creating the structure, removing the unwanted portion. We can get one end fixed, other end freely vibrating. This is a cantilever. It's called cantilever. With that, several application area can be covered. This, for example, of surface micro machining. Third alternate method, vapor bonding technique. Well, for example, a capacitive sensor. I already mentioned that capacitive sensor is a very complex, very complicated sensor. Here, bottom part is a cavity, top part is a membrane. Separately, we are making top part as a surface micromachining, bottom part cavity creation with the bulk micromachining. Bonding together, we can get a air cavity type of capacitive sensor. This is an alternative method of wafer bonding technique. These are all the examples for fabrication technique. Now, commercially, several sensors are available like accelerometer, cantilever sensors, capacity sensor. Are you able to see this slide now? Are you able to see these MEMS sensors now?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Ah,
sir.
okay.
Types of MEMS and nanosensors we can see, sir.
Okay. Then pressure sensor, gas sensor, humidity sensor, gyro sensor, optical sensor, radiation detectors, RFID tag. Now we are able to see in toll gates and all. The RFID tags also a kind of micro sensor. These sensors commercially available. Two methods. One is going for fabrication. If there is a not available in commercial market, we go ahead with our own fabrication. Otherwise, research scholars can think of buying commercial sensor, making use of it for their application area. Here, the pressure sensor means not only for pressure sensing, you can think of applying to various application in your research activity. That way, you can introduce a new area, new application for the sensor. That is the advantage in micro and nano sensor. First thing is a cantilever. I mentioned that one end fixed, other end is freely vibrating. Once now in my talk, I'm going to cover the cantilever part. Okay, what for we are going for microstructure sensor, driving forces, cheaper, smaller, faster. Apart from that, is functionality is a very great functionality one can harvest from microstructured sensors. Then this now I'm going to cantilever part. The cantilever I already mentioned that. Are you able to see the cartoon? Are you able to see now? There's a cantilever. 12th slide now.
Yes,
Actually,
sir.
this is one example. Cantilever means one end fixed, other end is freely vibrating. Now is for example swimming pool, the diving board is an example for the macro structure, several meters. But we are going to talk about miniaturized micro and nano cantilevers. Cantilever means it used to have a definite length, width, and thickness. One end free, another end is fixed. If you are adding load to the free end, it will deflect. That is the static mode of operation. If you are vibrating, then if you are adding mass onto the tape, then the resonant frequency shift will change. Each and every material used to have its own resonant frequency. If you are talking about table, some sound, some different sound. Likewise, it is a different material used to have a different resonant frequency. Same way, the cantilever material, dimension, these causes the change in the resonant frequency. For every cantilever, the resonant frequency is fixed. If you are tailoring or if you are adding mass, then the cantilever deflection change, resonant frequency will change. If you are measuring only deflection, that is a static mode. If you are vibrating the cantilever, adding the mass, that is the resonant frequency change. These are all the two modes, static mode and dynamic mode. Then everyone think of now cantilevers have a resonant frequency that depends on the diamond. With that, this is a basic concept. They are using it for application area. For example, chemical industries or chemical gas analyzer, they used to coat proper analyte on a cantilever. If there's that analyte can react for that particular gas. Then if there's a gas coming and hitting on the cantilever, it absorbs and then it is equivalent to mass added, then the cantilever deflect. Same in biomedical applications, nano cantilevers or micro cantilevers in a catheter, they're taking inside the bloodstream. That cantilever may have a coating for sensing chikungunya virus with a biological person. They used to coat biological stimuli. Then if there is chikungunya virus, then the cantilever deflect. For only for the chikungunya virus, because of the stimuli coated on that is for reactive to chikungunya. That way the deflection can be monitored. Then they can find out how much chikungunya. Same way for virus, even for now we are suffering from corona and all. That also possible to people attempting for microstructure sensor for detection. That way cantilever is having a wider application area. Chemical, agriculture, industries, then biomedical, environmental changes everywhere. Now, generally speaking, MEMS sensor, cantilever is nothing but a MEMS sensor, chemical array attached onto that. The cantilever is acting like much like a tuning fork. Tuning fork is nothing but two cantilevers, two prong, two cantilever. have a natural frequency of vibration which changes as more mass is added. If the mass is added, in case of that is the second category, that is the dynamic mode. Static mode only deflection. Dynamic mode, if you are vibrating the cantilever, then if there is a change in mass, then resonance frequency shift. This is a nano function. This is what people are using it for many applications, micro cantilever or nano cantilever. Cantilever is having a wider application area nowadays. Then these are the commercial cantilever available. Left-hand side shows the triangular type is a atomic force mass spectroscopy probe. I mentioned that that is the first structure, microstructure came out in the market after payment talk for AFM probe. With that, they are able to measure a differential, there is a change in stress, surface stress, tiny mechanical forces, then IR photons, heat fluxes. Likewise, they are able to measure with this cantilever. Right-hand side, rectangular cantilever for calorimetric application is a modified rectangular type of with a good isolation for temperature measurement. These are all commercially available. Sorry, commercially available. This is a fabrication. How they are doing fabrication? Silicon substrate. Over the silicon substrate, protective coating, silicon nitrate they are coating blue color. Over the nitrate coating, oxide coating, this is a sacrificial layer. Here only we are going to tailor for our required shape and dimension. For example, here cantilever. Now we are creating a pattern like a V-type pattern. Over which we are coating a polysilicon layer, green color. That is the actual cantilever structure. Then removing the sacrificial layer, red color, that is oxide coating we are removing. Then we can get a cantilever, one end fixed, other end freely vibrating. This is a cantilever fabrication. Okay. Then detection technique. Suppose I already mentioned that you may have a sensor. Without detection, how can you measure? For example, mercury thermometer, a capillary tube is having a mercury filling in it. Then if there is a temperature change, mercury level with a thermal expansion, it can expand. Then if you are marking that, then only you can have a readout. You know that 0 degree, ice point is 0 degree. Keep the capillary thermometer and then mark it as 0. Keep it in steam bath, then that is 100 degree. Mark it as 100. Equally spacing the scaling, then you can get the measurement. 40 degree means you can measure 40 degree. Likewise with the label. That's where readout is very important. Same way for any microstructure or any sensor transducers, then the readout mechanism very essential. Here I'm going to, here in this slide you can see what are the detection technique with the cantilever. There is an optical method, piezoresistive method, capacitive, piezoelectric tunneling. Piezoresistive, I already mentioned that in the pressure sensor, then yellow coating, that if there is a variation in the surface level, there is a deflection, the compression or rarification, what will happen? The piezoresistance will vary. Then by pumping constant current, you can get a voltage. That is a readout mechanism. That is a piezoresistive. That's what's shown in the bottom. Commercial piezoresistive micro cantilever. The lines and all is a piezoresistive coating. If by connecting it to Wheatstone's bridge, you can measure the changes in the deflection or resonance shift frequency can be monitored in the piezoresistive. Optical method, that's what we are using in CD and DVD head, we are having it. That's optical hologram. Laser hits on the tip of the cantilever, like here, hit. Then the reflected beam is captured by the quadrant photodiode. The top one shows the quadrant photodiode. 4 parts of the diode, circular. It means if the surface of the cantilever is in equilibrium position, then reflected laser beam falling on the quadrant photodiode, that is the position sensitive detector, quadrant photodiode, concentric circle. If there is no deflection, it means all the 4 diodes equally distributes the intensity, then output will be 0. Then if there is a slight changes in the cantilever, the concentric circle disturbed, then the astigmatism, it means the elliptical, circular image will become elliptical, the upward or downward. Sometimes this cross, likewise. 2 diodes have a maximum intensity, other 2 diodes have a minimal intensity. That way, error voltage appears. That error voltage is proportional to the deflection of the cantilever. Same way in the CD, same technique only. CD, we are dumping data, writing data. Then the laser hitting on the surface and reflecting back, and then falling on the position sensitive detector, the quadrant photodiode. If there is a data, then astigmatism, that is a deviation of light, that way error voltage produced, the error proportional to the data. That is the method in CD, and DVD is a Blu-ray DVD is a nanostructure. CD is in a microstructure, Blu-ray DVD is a nanostructure. That way, the optical method is a very accurately one can measure compared to piezoresistive method, optical methods. One, that's what in the atomic force mass spectroscopy and all AFM they're having a optical method only. This is the readout. With this readout, you can get even micro or nanostructure deflection in the case of a static mode, or in a dynamic mode. The resonance frequency shift can be monitored. Then these are the application micro cantilever. In our laboratory, we use the commercial micro cantilever, 100 micrometer length, 20 micrometer width, 1 micrometer thickness. Then cantilever means one end fixed, other end is freely vibrating. That's a cantilever. Repeatedly, I'm telling what is cantilever. Then here, dynamic mode and static mode, physical, chemical, or biological environmental change. In the dynamic mode and static mode, how it? In the static mode, only the stress, differential stress, surface stress, and thermal effect causes the expansion. That is a deflection of the cantilever. The bending can be monitored. That is a static mode. The left-hand side shows the dynamic mode, very accurate measurement. Here, stiffness changes, mass loading, damping effect, but it will affect the resonance frequency. Cantilever vibrated to its frequency, resonance frequency. If there is any change, mass change or stiffness change or damping change due to environment, biological or chemical or physical, anything, then it will reflect in the change in frequency, resonance frequency. That is a measurable quantity. This is a technique how cantilever used as a sensor. For example, the Cornell University people, they use a 50 nanometer gold dot coated with the sulfur chemical deposition with a sulfur coating. Then they wanted to measure this. What is the sulfur coating mass? What mass is loaded coated on the sulfur coating is loaded on the gold dot. For that, they are using a 4 micrometer length cantilever. 4 micrometer length. The gold dot is 50 nanometer. They proved that they measured the sulfur coating is 6 attograms. 10 power minus 18 grams. Unimaginable. Even you are having physics laboratory, physical balance, that will tell about 1 microgram or 0.1 1 milligram or 0.1 milligram measurement. In chemical laboratory, chemical industry, they used to have a chemical balance that can tell about some microgram, 1 microgram, 0.1 microgram. Even that cost about 15-20 lakhs. Physical balance cost about around 50,000, 1 lakh. Just imagine that, but with a simple structure of cantilever, the Cornell University people, they proved 10 power minus 18 grams, 6 attogram they measured. Minus 18, just imagine, minus 18. Now, recently, people reported minus 21 septogram, yotogram also with a nanostructure cantilever they are measuring. Here, all researchers using the property resonance frequency shift in vibration mode. That is a dynamic mode of cantilever operation. This leads to number of sensor applications. In our laboratory, we tailored the cantilever. These are the finite element simulation with a CAD tool, IntelliSuite CAD tool. With a dimension, we used to quote on the cantilever. The first graph, we used to quote on the cantilever. If you are talking about cantilever, like how the mode of operation, static and dynamic, same way, the cantilever vibration modes, lateral, vertical, and torsional modes are available. L for lateral means lengthwise. Then second, vertically moving. Third is a torsional with a torsional motion. By that way, we monitored by coating, thin coating of on the cantilever, copper coating or any gold coating. Here in the case, gold coating on the cantilever. Is there any variation in the resonance frequency? To get the higher sensitivity mass measurement of the cantilever. In our laboratory, we tried. Same way, the right side, instead of fully coating, partially coating from fixed end to free end. One dimension of thickness of 1 nanometer coating, small piece we are adding to the That way we monitor is there is these are all the tailoring the cantilever. Is there is any change in resonant frequency for very high sensitivity, mass sensitivity. Mass sensitivity means del F by del M. Small change in mass causes small change in frequency, del F by del M. That is the mass sensitivity. Here the left and bottom side, instead of this coating, gold coating of 390 nanometer, 100 nanometer, and 1 nanometer dimension. We are moving from fixed and to free and free and to fixed. And we are monitoring. Insert shows the coating of the dimension of 390 nanometer, 100 nanometer, 1 nanometer. Then we are observing for resonant frequency shift. Here, right hand side bottom is actually the lengthwise as well as in the widthwise. We are adding a gold bead of 19.3 femtogram. 19.35. These are all simulation results only. Then we are able to get an interesting result at 200 nanometer, a fantastic change in resonant frequency of septogram mass measurement. We are able to get it. That way, it clearly shows the tailoring of the cantilever. At one particular tailoring, we are able to get high resonant frequency. This is one method for which people can think of to go for a higher sensitivity of the cantilever. They can do tailoring by coating. And the next one is top one is discontinuity, removing some part of the cantilever. Left hand side, like lengthwise we remove, then widthwise, then is the thickness wise we remove A, B, C. In the first one graph, you can see at 200 nanometer, fantastic variation, very high mass sensitivity. Then it clearly shows that cantilever tailoring can support to go for a high sensitivity cantilever application. Okay, this is about a simulation result of whatever we did in our laboratory. It supports further application of fabricating the cantilever with the thickness, the proper dimension and shape. Then other one is a very interesting different phenomena, that is photostriction effect on silicon microcantilever. Photostriction is nothing but the irradiation of light on the semiconductor material produce excess electron hole pair. Irradiation here, like energy conversion, photonic into mechanical energy conversion. Because of the photon, that is a light particle irradiating on the cantilever, that causes mechanical structure deflection, variation, or resonant frequency shift. That is called photostriction effect. The photostriction effect, then Fujilski is the first person invented photostriction effect on microcantilever, semiconductor materials. But then light passing on the semiconductor material, if it is above the energy band gap of silicon, then whatever excess energy converted into electron hole pair, excess electron hole pair on the top surface, it causes the stress variation. The stress variation causes the mechanical movement deflection. That way one can measure the photostriction effect. Here, it's a very interesting, because of photostriction effect, we are able to go with ultraviolet, gamma, alpha, particle radiation, then IR photons measurement, and all we are able to go because of photostriction effect only. The first part is the UV exposure on commercial microcantilever. In our laboratory, we did it. We purchased a commercial cantilever. Then we saw it's a piezoresistive cantilever. That's what we start bridge we formed. Then we exposed a commercial microcantilever on the tip of the cantilever, the UV exposure. We are able to get the right hand side graph, the three different colors for three different distance of the UV lamp. This is the initial measurement, the first level measurement. Now people are doing the further added thing for research to go ahead with the UV measurement using microcantilever. Here, the fantastic thing you can get with the graph: sudden rise, then slow response, fast response and slow response. Fast response is due to photostriction effect. The slow response is due to thermal effect. It is having, while irradiating with the light, it's having fast and slow. That is photostriction and thermal effect. By that way, the height also you can see the variation in the photostriction. That is the measurement of a UV with a different, that is a UV intensity measurement, different intensity. Slow thermal response is due to thermal behavior of the cantilever, bimaterial cantilever. Same way, switch off the light, again falling down, switch on the light, again going up. That way we are able to prove that photosustain effect and thermal effects are appearing in the cantilever tip. Then we go with the cantilever for what are the composition in the cantilever. For that we went to SEM analysis. Then we got the component aluminum and silicon combination that causes the biomaterial nature and then act like a calorimetric application, like a temperature difference. That's what we are able to get a slow variation in the exposure of UV light switching on and switching off. This is the one interesting result. Then one fellow, he did Stephen et al. They did a very small, very compact instrument for alpha flux measurement in the chamber. Within the chamber is a isolated chamber that is maybe with a steel chamber insulating with separators, mica plate, top mica plate. Inside they are having americium source alpha particle emitting americium source. They are keeping it AM241. Top the circle is a steel ball. They are keeping number 5. It's a steel ball. What happens then? The black plate is the mica plate. Is alpha particle emission, then the fault on the steel ball, then it used to have a spherical steel ball, used to have a the electrical field because of the charge particle, positive particles accumulated on the ball, the bearing, steel ball. Because of that, the top one is the cantilever, 2, 3, 4 are the readout mechanism, laser and quadrant photodiode, mirror for reflection. Then if there is the electrical field on the spherical ball, steel ball, the cantilever deflect towards because of the electrostatic attraction. It will deflect, then deflection can be monitored with the readout mechanism, optical readout mechanism. They plotted the graph for time of exposure with respect to resonance frequency change. The cantilever vibrated with the piezo material, piezo exciter. Then by vibrating it, because of the alpha particle radiation, the cantilever deflect. Likewise, they are getting a very linear measurement with different timing exposure. This confirms that actually cantilever can be used as an alpha particle flux measurement very easily. Then this is research in our laboratory. What we did, some research we did. Actually, the top one is simulation result. That is with IntelliSuite simulation. The left one is a nano position vibration analyzer. It's a tool for measuring the resonance frequency change. There is an interferometric technique, optical interferometric, laser interferometric technique. Here in the top one, what we did with the simulation, not going with the experiment, with the IntelliSuite CAD tool, we simulated with the different modes. For example, cantilever vibrating means you have a first harmonic, second harmonic, third harmonic, fourth harmonic. Like with any vibrating body used to have an harmonics. Here, what we went is the same. Here we went with the one vertical bending mode. In a vertical bending mode, first mode, second mode, third mode, fourth mode. Likewise, we recorded the mode shape. What is the mode shape of the cantilever during vibration? First mode, second mode, third mode, fourth mode. Then the same dimension what we use in the cantilever, same dimension of cantilever used practically, and then with a laser interferometric nano vibration analyzer, we monitored the frequency and then recorded the mode pattern. That's what's shown in the bottom. Both are identical. It confirms that the simulation results and the experimental results are the same. It means cantilever can go with the various modes of harmonics. Then going for a higher mode, is it possible to harvest high efficiency, likewise mass sensitivity able to attain. Further, what we did, the right side is a coating system we fabricated. It's simple. With a motor movement, we dip the cantilever in a sol gel solution, coating, then remove it, drying it, then we are having a coating. Before coating, monitor for the resonance frequency. After the coating, drying out, monitor for the resonance frequency. Now, what is the difference? After coating, mass added to the cantilever, then the expected resonance frequency shift. That's what in the graph you can see, black color and red color. Black color is the virgin, actually without any coating. Red color, the after coating. In the VB1 means vertical bending mode 1, first mode. Then we are able to get 104.5 Hz for the added mass. with the frequency, then with the equation 1 by 2 point root of any vibrating oscillator, that with that equation one can identify what is the shifted resonant frequency. From that, the mass. What is the mass added? Here, the mass sensitivity 0.0645 hertz per picogram. We recorded here 104.5 hertz for 1 picogram variation. It's a coating material was a polymer coated polyacrylamide PAM material be coated. Here, second one is in the same coating of the cantilever in the seventh mode of operation, harmonics. We are able to get a fantastic variation, 13.98 kilohertz. For such a high frequency variation, then accurate measurement possible. In that case, 8.64 hertz per 1 picogram addition of mass corresponding to 8.64 hertz. Likewise, in vertical bending mode 7, created a very high mass sensitivity. It means this results proves that how in a earlier cases with the simulation results, then discontinuity and coating we observed. Here, by coating practically, how we are able to get a mass sensitivity, higher mass sensitivity. That is this our result in our lab. We did. Actually, here the simple thing is a CD optical pickup at this is geometry. Instead of going for AFM, each and every experiment, research scholars cannot afford money for AFM for 1 crore money to spend for AFM for getting this readout mechanism. For that, we introduced a simple technique with optical hologram inside the CD drive or DVD. DVD drive means nanometric scale, nanoscale vibration. You can go with the DVD. That hologram alone, that optical pickup head alone, what is the cost? CD itself is cost about 300, 400 rupees CD drive. Then it's even old fact you can get the repaired CD. From that you can pick up an optical hologram. With that you can here simple mechanism is top is a functional mechanism. Disk CD drive, laser diode through the polarization unit. It is hitting on the surface of the disk. In case of data, already mentioned that concentric circle and astigmatism deviation, elliptical path that falling onto the position sensitive detector bottom. That's what A, B, C, D, E, F. These are all the diodes. Then if there is a concentric circle, you can get a 0 error voltage. If there is a deviation due to the data, you can get a data here, some error voltage. Same way, remove this disk, keep a cantilever, you can get a cantilever deflection part. It means with a simple available tool, with a part of a spare part in the optical pickup head, that is in the CD head or DVD head, that can be used for the measurement of deflection of the cantilever or resonant frequency shift of the cantilever very easily. I use it for a non-contact displacement of I'm moving the sensor like a displacement pressure membrane. Then membrane is deflecting means I can get the measurement through the optical pickup head. That's what he has shown. It published in the EDN magazine. It was awarded by the EDN magazine for the best design. Then this another example. Then why can't you think of a commercial cantilever buying and all for students and research scholars, and they can think of fabricating millimeter size cantilever. I'm not talking about micrometer, nanometer, millimeter type cantilever. It means Bonvita foil, thin aluminum foil, you can cut it, or silicon substrate, you can cut it as a millimeter size dimension. Keep it on a CD, optical pickup head top instead of CD. Then add the mass onto the cantilever. For example, sugar globule. Who knows what is the mass of sugar globule? You are having a sugar particle, a thin particle of sugar. What is the mass? Nobody knows about it. That mass can be measured with this technique. How much, whether it is a picogram or nanogram or femtogram, like this, they can measure. That way, what we did is small silicon strip cut and then kept on the CD optical pickup head. From electrical wire, multi-strand wire, thin copper wire is a cylindrical type, cut into different pieces, a finite length, same length. Then we mounted on the cantilever. Cylindrical means, copper cylinder means, then pi r squared, with we can monitor the area and volume, mass, you can calculate pi r squared into density, L into density. That way you can get the mass of the mass of the wire strip, copper wire strip, small string. Then what is the mass? Then next, same identical length, identical thickness. We are keeping one by one, one by one, one by one. We are measuring the frequency with the calculation. What is the volume on mass by means of the mathematical equation pi r squared L into density. We are having a calculated mass. We can measure with the readout electronics what is the quantity we are measuring, resonance frequency shift. With that, we calibrated. We are able to measure 10 microgram to 10 milligram. Wider span of mass measurement we are able to do with a millimeter cantilever. Not I'm talking about micro or nanometer cantilever. Millimeter cantilever, we are able to measure 10 microgram. If you're going for a chemical industry, microgram balance is 15-20 lakhs. With ordinary aluminum foil, you are able to monitor from 10 microgram to 10 milligram. Why can't you have it as a one project and think of using it for some application area with optical pickup head and small cantilever with a cut foil or the silicon substrate? You can do for any measurement, maybe some analytes or biochemical, biomedical application that you can have a different application. But here, ultimately, mass changes causes resonance frequency shift that we are measuring. That way, you can think of millimeter cantilever also initially for research scholars project. Then these with whatever optical pickup head I'm showing with the CD drive, I removed all the part. Optic yellow color shows the cantilever. Bottom is the focusing part of the optical hologram laser, the small unit laser, and quadrant photodiode. Everything is there. From that, attaching to the programmable system on chip, any microcontroller. I use for programmable system on chip, the Cypress microcontroller. That way, I am able to get the counts, then calibrate the count for the addition of mass. Very simple. This appeared in the Electronic Design magazine. Then this is a measurement with that whatever data acquiring in the PC, we are online plotting. This is a measurement shows for the addition of mass with a simple millimeter size cantilever. You making use of CD optical pickup head has a readout mechanism. We are not going with a crores of money spending for AFM with a simple technique with the 200-300 rupees available, even the old CD or DVD, that one can make use of it. Same way we think of micro cantilever is it possible. Already I mentioned that alpha. Same way our interest has atomic energy. Why can't you think of implementing the cantilever for radiation detection with a photosection effect? That tuned us to think of gamma. Yeah, nowadays even today, gamma radiation, the detectors available are indirect method, the ionizing, but there is charge particle loses energy in solid primarily through ionization process. This is the thing they are using it. But here, what is the drawback is very costlier photomultiple tube with the scintillator crystal. These are all the very costlier effect. Apart from that, the dark current effect, it affects the measurement. Dark current effect means because of temperature variation without any radiation falling on that, the heating effect causes some noisy parameter, noisy signal. That way, it's a low-level signal, gamma irradiation, gamma falling, or alpha particle or beta particle falling, and that unable to quantitatively measure. Then we have to take care of dark current. Then by that way, then the cost is jumping up like anything. That time only we can think. I think of why can't is my own idea. Why can some different transaction mechanism? Then what is the effect by eliminating it to some charge particle or gamma radiation? What happens in microsecond change, resonance frequency change, like photosection that we monitor? The simple harmonic oscillator equation: displacement is equal to change in momentum by spring constant in mass root. This is a simple, with that simple equation, we are able to measure radiation effect. These are all the result. Then black color shows the virgin cantilever without exposure. Then initially without exposure, we kept it for some time to observe if there is any temperature measurement. A slight deviation only, around some 15 hertz slight shift without any exposure. Then B shows the sodium 22 isotope is alpha gamma particle. Actually, 1280 kV gamma ray and 511 kV gamma ray comes out of the source. With that, what is the change? We expose for a different exposure time. We are able to get a shift in resonance frequency in the right side. If you are removing the source after a long time, it is coming back. That is very important. While using sensor, it goes for the measurement. Again, it has to come back to virgin position. But here, only thing we observed that bringing back to original, some additional mechanism is required to bring back for next measurement. That anyway, our students are doing that each and every stages they are coming across now. Then same way, this is for virgin cantilever of sodium 22 for different time exposure. This is a cobalt 60 source. Everything shows a fantastic variation. It confirms that cantilever can be effectively used as a detectors, radiation detectors, that is nuclear particle detection using cantilever. This is a final overall result. Hits as another cesium. Different source we tried. Cesium shows left shift. All the source shows a right shift. Depend because of the nature of the radiation coming out of the source. That also in detail description people are doing it with what is the reason for that. This is a simple inset shows the variation, how the amplitude, that is a peak shifting for various exposure of time. This confirms that stiffening of the cantilever is a main reason that causes the stiffness is due to the stress, is due to the photosection effect. Then radiating the charged particle or the gamma particles, then it causes the stiffness of the cantilever due to shift in resonance frequency stress, and then due to that shift in resonance frequency can be recorded. Then it quantitatively and qualitatively one can make use of the cantilever for radiation sensor. This is another very high radiation. What we did, the commercial cantilever, both are identical, dipped with PVP coating. We tried with a different polymer. PVP polymer only shows fantastic result. Here the graph blue and green is without any exposure. We are leaving it for some time. Without coating, we are doing exposure for 100 kilorad, up to 100 kilorad. Without coating, the cantilever doesn't exhibit any variation. Then we coated PVP. Then here you can see both are identical cantilever, black and red is two cantilevers. Both are showing fantastic measurement for 0 or 2 kilorad to 80 kilorad, really 100 kilorads. That means very high radiation source. That is here the gamma radiation. We can use it as a dosimeter. Dosimeter means how much radiation deposited on the cantilever. That way you can monitor. This also is a very encouraging result. Then because of time, I think we are having short of time due to network lagging and all. But anyway, I can show these another capacity sensor that we fabricated, indigenously fabricated in Ajigar Kalpakam for the inner and outer vessel, reactor vessel, micro crack formation. Then if you are able to identify micro crack, then we can cure it. We can avoid major accident like Chernobyl and all. We can avoid accident due to radiation in the reactor application area. That way we thought of working what way we can actually the inner and outer vessel of reactor vessel 250, 280, 330 degrees it can go. It is impossible to mount a sensor on the surface structure. That way we can think, we thought of what sensors can be implemented. Finally, we prepared micro electromechanical capacitive sensor array. Here simply what happens is a right hand side shows a simple structure. Bottom surface, air cavity, light blue color is the insulating pillar. The top one is a membrane. The light color blue is a aluminum coating on the membrane for electrical contact. Same way, bottom also used to have a electrical blue color coating, that is aluminum coating. Between these two electrodes, if you are measuring it, you can measure the capacitance. Between these two electrodes, suppose you are applying a DC potential, what will happen? The membrane is 1 micron thickness. Membrane is 1 micron thickness. Then if you are applying DC potential, the total, the circular part is a 50 micron dia. Then if you are applying a DC potential, the membrane deflects towards the substrate bottom. Then applying simultaneous AC potential, it will vibrate. To have a maximum vibration, DC potential to be applied, but it does not, you should not touch the bottom surface. That is collapse voltage. Bottom it touches bottom means it won't work. Nearing to the bottom, then applying AC potential, maximum amplitude, then the maximum single strength can go out. Then it can hit the target material like a reactor vessel. If there is a micro crack, then reflected beam have a path difference compared to other surface reflected beam. and then specifically in a microcrack, it is entering, coming out, path difference will be there. Then while reaching again on the same membrane, remove the AC and DC potential, just to measure the capacitance, because reflected beam falling on the membrane causes again deflection. The capacitance, the air cavity will reduce, the capacitance variation, that shows the what is the reflected beam. Then by that way, one can have a ultrasonic non-destructive evaluation of material, that is any crack, micro crack formation. This thing, for that we use IntelliSuite for fabricating the sensor, and then we fabricated the sensor. This is a simulation result by means of membrane thickness variation and pulling voltage monitoring and all. With the mode 1, mode 2, likewise we monitor with the simulation result. Then with that we fabricated. We faced a lot of failures, but I am unable to explain now because of a short of time. Then we faced number of iteration event. That is because of chemistry, the failure in chemistry, then structure patterning part. Likewise, we faced the third phase. We came out successfully the capacitive sensor, single sensor, 1/5 sensor, 5/5 sensor, 10/10 matrix array, 10 sensors. We made it for different power level. Now all the sensors are working successfully now with the Q factor. Here I shown the Q factor around some 2.28 or something. Here I mentioned it. Then that way, then pull in voltage, DC bias is 100 volt. Then AC excitation potential is 4 volt. Like by that way, we are able to get this measurement with the nano vibration analyzer. Same thing we measured with the Indian Institute of Science. They are the collaborator, and Siri Plani for fabrication part, they are the collaborator. We got the vibration result. That way we confirm that excellent way of working sensors. This actual Doppler measurement, you can see real sensor it is working, that is deflecting. This is another cross section, how it is going up and down. This is a 1/5 sensors. It's a practically the fabricated sensors, another cross section. This is a Doppler vibrometer. We measured what is the frequency, 1.74 megahertz is a shift in the peak frequency we are able to measure, but we expected 2.34. But because of fabrication difficulties and all, we are very close. We are getting 7.240 megahertz. We are getting this confirms the sensors are fabricated very successfully and working well. The readout electronics designed by me with the programmable system on chip. With that we measure the capacitance measurement, and then the automation, entire automation, indigenous CMOOT. This is called CMOOT sensor, capacitive micro electromechanical ultrasonic transducer. This successfully we fabricated. Then for biomedical application, commercially available accelerometer we bought. Here hand tremor analysis. Parkinson's disease, you know that. Actually, people may have finger vibrating or one finger non-vibrating, or sometimes the head vibrating. Like these are all the motor neuron disturbance, motor neuron malfunctioning within the body. That is neuron malfunctioning. How it can be detected? Actually, I went to Chitrathal. Should they struggle like anything? One patient repeatedly comes for clinical measurement, investigation for months together to identify what caused this tremor, whether it is a brain neuron or spinal cord neuron. Cortex means brain, cortex neuron or spinal cord neuron. That they struggle. I went, and within a week I made one small device with automobile glove attached with the accelerometer, MEMS accelerometer, commercially available analog devices, 200 rupees, 300 rupees, commercial 3 accelerometer itself is at 250 rupees now available online, you can get it. That mounted with a PISAC microcontroller wirelessly, I fabricated the MEMS glove. This is called MEMS glove. Then with a minimal discomfort, we can attach to patient hand. It is for hand tremor. If there is a vibration, if there is a tremor, then tremor frequency wirelessly it will reach PC, personal computer. This is a one BTech student. She did the project under my guidance. Then this way, then with a LabVIEW, while receiving it in the PC and with the LabVIEW, we can make a pack of a fantastic program. Then it can record all the events like amplitude, frequency, then the count now, number of count, the patient details. With that, one can identify whether the tremor is due to cortex neuron or the spinal cord neuron. How? The spinal cord neuron will act as a very fast way. It means rise time is very fast. From brain, it is having some delay in the, that is right time is falling compared to the spinal. That way one can identify the right time and falling time. For that, immediately it can report the tremor is due to brain neuron or spinal cord neuron. That supported Chitrathal include people like anything, then they are going with the further processing of overlapping with the MRI imaging, then find out the exact position of the neuron, which neuron in the brain or spinal cord, that can support them for the improving the quality of life for the patient, those who are having Parkinson's disease, specifically the neuron movement malfunctioning. Then at same way, these projects I started, but it's very slow manner it is going. You can think of a cardiac pacemaker and brain pacemaker. Brain pacemaker means whatever neuron malfunctioning, you can treat with the brain pacemaker by having a capillary tube. Through that, the whichever brain phantom not functional, that can be activated. For example, this finger is with a brain command, whatever thing giving command, it's working means it is working to that the low frequency 450 hertz. The panthalum is vibrating in the brain. Suppose in case of the frequency is reducing or increasing, malfunction started. Sometimes the one finger itself will stop. Just imagine that quality of life. So people are working, very poor people. We investigated Chitrathal Institute. They are unable to go for work because of them families suffering for food and all. Very poor nature because of that simple problem, neuron malfunctioning. For that, if you are supporting, but here what is all pacemakers are very costly from abroad. 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, that too depends upon the battery life. If the battery goes, again you have to remove from the body, again redo the surgery and then fix it. It's a very complicated. That's why we have to think of with the micro nanotechnology. Is there any method without disturbance, without removing the part? Once implanted, lifelong, it provides the quality of life for the patient in the brain or spinal cord. There is a neuron movement disorder. Same in a cardiac pacemaker. Also, you very well about the cardiac pacemaker. The valve action will slow down. It got fellow got cardiac arrest, then collapsed. To identify, okay, is there is any proper deflection of the valve with a small electronics, microelectronics, then we can micro sensors, we can read, and then we can give a shock to that valve. Again, it will vibrate with properly maintaining the person. It also depends upon battery. That pacemaker costs about 7 lakhs to 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs of the battery life, 5 years, 10 years, 7 years, likewise. Then poor people are unable to imagine this type of medication surgery because of the cost. They won't get 7 lakhs or 10 lakhs from society to get the quality of life. People think of this is what I mentioned, that pressure sensor. Now what I did, the commercial pressure sensor, I chopped off membrane I used for laser intensity measurement. The graph shows fantastic linear measurement of laser measurement. The top part is inside of the pressure sensor membrane and Westwood bridge formation. This way one can think of commercial sensor utilization in all application area. This is a final slide for mechatronics PhD student. What is a project is simply is a gyrosonic technique. Just hitting and then the vibration, resonant frequency can be monitored. Then resonant frequency varies, depends upon the defect. For example, MRF tire factory, how they are getting a good and bad tires, how they are splitting it. After fabrication, the tires in a belt running through. The small hammer hit and then vibration frequency monitor. Then with a combination, what combination they are using, that used to have a certain resonant frequency. The combination differs during manufacturing, the resonant frequency shift. They used to have 5%, 10% tolerance. If it crosses 10%, bad. If it is within that limit, good. Likewise, very far away, lakhs and lakhs of tires can be qualified for the quality inspection. Same way here, bearing, the rotating element bearing is a major heart of any system. Very small system or very big in industrial systems. Bearing is a main part. Motor run, bearing, is there any difficulty in bearing? Even due to vibration, breakdown means that the industry, they have to stop the entire process. That way, time consuming, cost wise, everything. For that is a simple method, just hammering, even not removing the membrane from bearing from the machine. or you are buying a bearing from in shop, you can test there itself, just vibrate. Keep the accelerometer, MEMS accelerometer. It will tell about whether the bearing is a faulty or good quality bearing by means of resonance frequency. If there is a ball defects in the ball, it can produce one wing part difference in wing part frequency. Then if it is inner race and outer race is inner race problem, it will give a peak variation, different variation. The outer race means the other peak variation. Ball bearing not a wing, is a peak. Ball bearing variation means peak will differ. Compared to normal bearing, working bearing, failed ball bearing, loosened bearing gives a very high peak. That way you can identify this ball bearing defect is or inner race or outer race. The simple mechanism with the PISAC microcontroller and MEMS accelerometer attached to that is solenoid for hammering. Just a solenoid can just tick, 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 hammer it. Then the vibration recorded by accelerometer. Then this is a one PhD work for mechatronics student. Then here the frequency, vibration frequency we are recording with LabVIEW FET power spectrum analysis. Here you can see red color and green color faulty, jumping. This is due to inner bearing. There is a steel ball failure. That is due to tear and wear. It got damaged. That's what we are getting a very high amplitude. Then this is a normal. Then that way one can, same way, if there is a inner race, outer race, left wing deviation, right wing deviation, or jumping in the right wing or left wing, that causes the inner and outer race. That way, this is a fantastic automation for bearing defect identification. This actually, with that, the fellow published some 4 or 5 papers. He got PhD recently, then from Wales University. But why I'm telling is everything commercially available also PhD candidate think of, they can implement for proper, whether it's a biomedical or industrial application or mechanical application or like this mechatronics application or any agriculture field, everywhere one can think of the implementation, and that will become valuable work and publication. Easily with a less time one can get a PhD with the quality of work. This what now I hope I can go ahead with the various areas, like what is the introduction about what is the MEMS and NIMS dimension wise, then how motivated by Feynman, how people gradually come out of miniaturization, how to read small, how to write small, like they come out with different spectroscopic event and the memory stick like a product. Then microcomputers already we are having it, but 59 Feynman, as per Feynman prediction, no one is having an idea about microcomputer. Now we are having entire world on our top of the table. We are able to equip ourselves acquiring knowledge. Same way the micro nanotechnology, sensors, transducers, fabrication, greatly supporting by given some example with my own application of commercial sensor buying, fabrication, MEMS, CMOS sensor for reactor application, non-destructive evaluation. Likewise, then several combination I given is a preliminary talk only. I hope you may enjoy the talk. If you are having any doubts, you can think of. Okay, thank you. Hello.
Sir, thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you so much.
But then
Yes,
any
sir.
questionnaire from students?
Students, if you have any questions, you can ask your doubts.
Don't hesitate, you can ask. Otherwise, even you can send your questions, post your question to my mail ID, I can respond to you. Same way, I
Okay.
hope all PhD students and faculty members, they are doing research work. My talk will be very effective, supportive, as well as given motivation to them to think of the new area of micro and nanotechnology. That's what I mentioned, that actually even commercial sensor. First part is the simulation itself is IEEE publication. Simulation with the CAD tool, IntelliSuite, Coventor, whichever tool you are having in your SRM is having MEMS facility, MEMS Foundry also they are having. You can get that shared license to you for all the people, those who are interested. They can work simulation work is itself is a obligation. Otherwise, get a commercial sensor, implement in your application area, that will become another great work. Other thing is one INUP, you may have an idea, Indian Nano Electronics User Program, IIT, Mumbai, IIT, Delhi, the IAC, Bangalore, they are having the node, even PSG, Technology Coimbatore also having node. I am twice in a year, I'm going for their motivating them for new type of sensor. That way you can interact with them even with Saram. Already I thought of the plan for that. I don't know whether they are having the MEMS structure facility. Anna is also not having successfully. Even as a good institution, reputed institution, SRM and SRM Alleve join together, they can bring out the INUP, make use of INUP. INUP is totally free of cost. Government is spending several thousand crores to institutions. If you are coming out with a proper signature, they will give a one node to INUP node to SRM. That way you can have already, I'm sort of you may have it, I don't know about it. If it is not having, then you can work for that and then get the INUP node. Teachers and students, they can go for hands-on training program. Every 2-3 months, they are conducting it. You can go through the advertisement from INUP, Indian Nano Electronics User Program, node at Indian Science, then IIT Mumbai, IIT Delhi, PSG Coimbatore, they are having it. You can go ahead for free training course, and then you can write your proposal and then send it to them. Then the proposal is acceptable. They'll call you with food, travel, accommodation, everything free of cost. You can go and fabricate your device, go for 1 month, come back. Another holiday, you can go, come back. Like they're very flexible. Then you yourself, you can fabricate a MEMS sensor for some critical applications. Then that is another part, third part. Okay, you can think of going with a micro nano sensor fabrication design, implementation in a different application area. You can really enjoy as well as you can fantastic picture quality picture you can generate.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir. Sir, I will forward your mail ID to the students so that they can ask the doubts to you, sir.
Okay, ma. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Sir,
sir.
one
Thank you,
minute, sir.
thank you.
Sir, 1 minute, sir. First of all, I would like to thank our HOD, Dr. Kelango, our principal, Dr. P. Chidambara Rajan, and Vice Principal, Dr. M. Murugan, gave me this opportunity to conduct this guest lecture. On behalf of our entire institute, I would like to thank our speaker, Dr. J. Jayapandian. Yes, sir, your years of research, your depth of understanding of your interfaces and your ability to present the subject in such an interesting way produced one of the most memorable evenings in our group's history, sir. You're always welcome. You're always welcome at our guest lecture program, sir. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to all the staffs and the students present today. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Shall I stop sharing? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, ma.
Thank you all. Thank you all for your patient listening. Thank you. Thank you so much.